Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Morgan Little. I play the cello. Today, playing the baroque cello. We're going to do some more continuo. This is continuing in my little series here. I'm going to play this continuo part on my baroque cello, and then we're going to talk about the strategies that we use in terms of the bow hand, in terms of our left hand, phrasing, etc. So if this interests you, I would check out the rest of these videos. I've been working my way through this Telemann book, and for today's installment of this Telemann book, we are going to be looking at number 17, His Servant. Coming up on Christmas, coming up on the holidays, you know, we need some like vaguely Handel Messiah-ish music. So I found one, and it's in this Telemann book, and it is called His Servant, number 17. So let's play it. Let's see how it sounds. Kind of a fun little one there. A short and sweet one, so to speak. So let's just get right into it here. So I think with something that is like this, kind of Messiah-esque music, what you need to do is you need to think lofty, right? So let's just talk about this first phrase here. I'm going to just, so we can, this first phrase over here, when we're talking about lofty, we want this whole thing to be kind of up, 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 up. So let's actually just talk about that. What we want is, right, instead of something like, so air, lofty. How do we achieve that, okay? Instead of, you'll notice I'm going to pack a ton of pronation into the string, which is, as always, we're thinking about pronating and letting it off, right? So we're going to pronate into the string, and what I'm going to do this wrong first, right? So we're going to put extra amount of pronation in, contact into the string, getting that kind of tone. That's grounded, right? We want, it's a very grounded tone. That's fine, but I think for this, what we want is to lift. We want to create air. So what we want is, instead of putting all that pronation in and keeping that contact, instead what we're going to do is we're going to put that pronation in at the beginning and then let that contact off. So we go on. You notice how the beginning is the same as that. Same exact approach. And if we zoom in on that, you can see here's the maximum connection. Notice how I'm not letting it up ever. Now we're going to add some air. Starts exactly the same way. Has a little bit of air in there. Now, when I say air, I mean I lift slightly off the string, or I don't. It just kind of, it's coming off the string a little bit, and when we come back, we want to re-articulate in exactly the same way. So it's a three-step process. We find the string, we pop it, we release it, plant it. Pop, release, plant. It's like a dance move, all right? So we have, okay, so now I just did the exact opposite of what I was talking about, and that's because we're going to do a phrasing thing. So you notice how I went, so we have air, and then we have a little bit of connection. Now, let's just do this all air. That's fine, but I kind of feel like that's weak. We don't want weak, so we want strong. So let's think, and one, and one. And I like to do that. We have a D, D, D there. you know, you see this little thing. We have a boo boo boop. We have a wee wee weep. And I'm gonna say, let's just play that long. We have short, and then kind of a dun, bum, beam, beam. Okay, so let's just try that. Let's see how this sounds. We go. Now you'll notice how on the downbeat of the next measure, I'm not smacking it. Right? So I think the G is going to speak for itself because we're pretty much in this. So I think you need to present that G, but then back away from it. So, all right, and let's think about moving on with this, right? With the same idea though, which is kind of the whole thing. So we get so you'll notice how these 1, 2, 3. We're gonna go strongest up on the top here. We go strong, weak, weak. Okay, weak, weak. That's how we're gonna do that. The 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's gonna become, it's kind of a theme for other things, right? We're thinking about finding things that we can use later on. We're gonna keep reusing these tactics. So we have the scoop and release thing, the bum bum. So that's like a motive that we've created. Now let's create another motive. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got our scoop and release. We got our 1, 2, 3. Let's keep moving on. You notice that's a scoop and release. Now there we have a modified 3, 2, 1. You'll notice in this next measure we go like this. We go scoop and release over here, and then we have sorry, the scoop and release I guess would be there, huh? And then we have 1, 2, 3, but then it does a little bit of a scoopy thing over there. So let's just like look at this. Okay, we have that's the scoop and release part. So now, because this one keeps going, I'm gonna break the pattern. We have our pattern in mind, but we have. Notice how it sounds a little lumpy, right? So let's just think about this. Let's take our 1, 2, 3 pattern, or 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna take that and we're actually gonna push through it. So we're gonna go. All right, let's try this a couple different ways because I'm still not really happy with that. So we have. So I like that because I like to ramp up into that C, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to be pushing towards measure 7 if you're looking along, but if you want to just look here, we're pushing onto this measure right here. So we want. All right, I like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a nice little decrescendo. So we're going to maintain our 1, 2, 3 pattern, and then we are just going to push all the way into that last bit, and we're going to kind of do our 1, 2, 3 there, right? And so then we're going to get into kind of a little bit of a progression, and let's just talk about that. So just to hear it though, we have. Okay, so this is kind of a weird part, and then actually I should have played the cadence after that, but you know, hey, we'll get there, right? We'll get there. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have another 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have another 1, 2, 3, and then we have a scoop and release. Okay, so this one's kind of somewhere in the middle of the two of them. So we're just going to approach it like that. We go scale, connect it, right? Great rule of thumb. Scale, try connecting it. Okay, now you'll notice how he tricks us out. He tricks us out a little bit. You kind of expect it to do something else here, but it goes, and we have a 6 chord there, so we're, right? If you wanted to embellish it here. You notice how he tricks us again, right? I'm going to keep pushing on into this next section here, just keep us moving, you know? You notice how you think it's going to end, and then he presents the next idea in this. So we go. Instead of, you notice how that's very angular here. So now let's do what he did, which is tie them together. And so how we're going to approach that is we are going to make sure you know that happens, and then we're going to scoop it in. Right? And the most important part of this is make sure you don't go, right? You don't want any of that. We want to, notice how I'm just using my fingers here to just rotate down and catch that C. Oh, just so nicely, right? Just catch it so nicely. And you notice how we can do that because I don't need to go, I'm just go. Because what we care about is this. Okay, so now you'll notice we keep that energy up and we end it like we're gonna, and then we push forward into this next part, and then we kind of goes into weird land. But those are scoop and cat, scoop and, what was it, scoop and release? So this is a bunch of scoops all in a row. We have, let's try it straight first. Outlining the beats. Let's try now outlining the dissonance and see if this makes it a little bit more fun. So now with this one, I kind of was aiming at the beat number 1 of measure 14, right? We're gonna go, I'm gonna try and scoop it all the way into this A right here, which is, I think, you know, a little bit nicer. But let's just see how that sounds. Okay, now let's add a little bit of zhuzh on this G sharp right here. C sharp, G sharp. I think it off balances it. You notice how when you pack it in over here, then this is too long, right? So I think packing it in here gives us a nice 2 even chunks, which, hey, let's listen to that. Let's hear how that sounds. And if I was trying to be truly good, I wouldn't smack that A. What we're gonna do with that A instead is we're gonna just make it long. That pops it out of the texture without slamming you in the face with, hey, Renee, or there's an A here, right? We got. All right, so then we keep going. Let's just keep moving. So now we have a couple of catch and releases here. We have a couple of like, ooh, what's happening? And then we just 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and 1. So now we have the extended 1, 2, 3 here, which is 1, 2, 3, and 1. So that's our cadence. So we have another and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now, hemiola time, maybe? Kind of. It's kind of something, right? And so what we want to do here is just to go. You notice how I'm adding a lot of air into that low D because it's a low note. You don't need to punch people in the face with these low notes, especially when you've just played the low note here. And that creates a nice 1 and 2, right? So let's just play this end here. Nice. And so on this last D here, we can think about this. I like to end it like that, but you could end it like this. Now if you were taking time though, that sounds weird. You gotta really plant it if you're doing that. Make it sound very intentional. Because if you do, otherwise, that people just think you're late, right? You don't want to be late. So now let's do it my way, which is a little bit more spread out. That nice mezzo di voce there in the end to let people know, hey, in Baroque music, we end on the mezzo di voce. It's the most important part. Okay, so I hope you liked this one. I liked this one. You know, it's an interesting little guy. You know, and I think to wrap it up, we talked about three concepts, which was the scoop and release, which was, making sure we have a, right? We also talked about the air in the sound, as opposed to just planting the sound, making it more grounded, right? We also talked about our 1, 2, 3s there, which is a nice, we start it and then we just come away from it. And then we also talked about don't slam those bottom notes, all right? Just don't slam the bottom notes in cadences, and it's just the easiest way to add a little bit more style to your continuo playing. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, really would appreciate a like and a thumbs up, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much.